Welcome back. You are watching Digital Trends coverage of CES 2018 live from Las Vegas. Hey there, my name is Maude Garrett and we are talking TVs. And the best man to do that is sitting right next to me. It's the senior editor of Digital Trends. We've got Caleb Dennison staying with us here. Hi, Caleb.
Hi.
So we are also talking Samsung products now, which is so exciting. And to help us with this, we've got Scott Cohen, the National Training Manager from Samsung Electronics. Happy CES.
Happy CES to you. It's always the best time of the year.
Yeah? Well, I was going to say, how many have you done now?
This is 13 for me, all with Samsung. So I've seen the evolution of Samsung where, many years ago at a show like this, we'd show tube, rear projection, plasma, LCD, LED. And now things have changed a lot. Some of those technologies have faded as we're introducing newer technologies to replace all those.
That's fantastic. And it is the talk of the town all about TVs. So Caleb, I'll hand the reins over to you.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Yeah, TV, always a huge thing here at CES. This year is definitely no different. We got a chance to go to a Samsung First Look event. Takes place a couple of days before the opening of the big show, and that's where we get to see some of the hot technologies. Everybody's trying to bring their best, and show what they think the future of TV looks like. I think it's fair to say that this was a very special year for Samsung and that it is very much about looking towards the future. Very futuristic stuff, but all of it, as Dave Dawes told us while we were there, coming commercialized in 2018. And I think we have to start with the elephant, or in this case, the wall in the room, the 146-inch micro-LED TV. This thing is absolutely massive. We're going to roll some B-roll so some people can actually see just how huge it is. But can you tell me a little bit about why go this direction, why micro-LED, and why is it so gigantic?
So, you are right. This is not just figuratively big, it is literally the next big thing. So Samsung decided to go with micro-LED as a technology, and it's a modular design. So the TV is actually built up of smaller screens that mesh together in a seamless way so that we can build it out and go up to 146-inch. This is going to be great, which means the technology itself is scalable. So, we stopped at 146-inch for the show because it makes sense. If we look at the American household and the height of a ceiling from floor, 146 inches is what's about right for that 8 to 9 foot. But if someone wanted to go bigger, we'll have the ability to go bigger. And yes, this technology will be available this year. So it is going to, if you're a customer and you want this, you can have it. When it comes to the technology backing it, it's micro-LED, which is for the home, I believe the first new TV technology that's going to be made available in quite some time. And for Samsung, we're committed to giving our customers the best of the best in picture quality. So what micro-LED offers and brings to the table is self-emitting pixels. So each pixel is made up of a red, a green, and a blue LED, very, very, very small, or itty-bitty light bulbs as I like to think of them. And by using this technology, we can create absolute back. There is no backlight, so when we want blacks, we can get those inky, deep blacks that all of our customers want, especially with the new high dynamic range stuff out. So that's a big advantage to us because it's LED based, and it actually, believe it or not, is based on our outdoor digital signage, LFD, which we've miniaturized, which means we can go significantly bright. So on the dark side and the bright side, these TVs are going to have some serious contrast.
When I stood in front of it, I was probably, to start, I was probably 15 feet away from this display, and I still felt like absolutely overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of this thing. It's huge. And we know that it can go bigger, right? Because Samsung announced and actually installed a massive 34 foot, excuse me, don't want to shortchange it, 34-foot cinema display meant for commercial cinemas. I think there's one getting installed in the US right now. It's same basic technology, but for the commercial cinema. So we know it can go bigger. Here's my question, can it get smaller?
Yes, so we are looking at smaller, and what it really comes down to for the real techies out there is pixel pitch. Right now we're at 4K at 146 inch. If we start to shrink that down, we're going to need to make that pixel pitch closer. So that is the thing that's the main difference between, say, the big 34-foot cinema wall versus the wall that we have at home. And then as we go smaller, we need to shrink the pixel pitch down even further, make the LEDs even smaller, which we are showing the evolution at the booth of the size of the pixels themselves.
How long did it take you to get to this point where you could do a 146-inch micro LED? Because yeah, I mean, getting the LEDs super, super tiny has been the technological challenge. Otherwise, you would have done it already, right? So, how hard has that been?
So, from the R&D side, it's obviously taken some time, because if you were here at CES 2 years ago, we showed a 170-inch modular TV as well, that was a future-looking inspirational piece, and now it's 2 years later and we're actually launching it for the home. So, a minimum of 2 years that we've been working on it, but things are seeming to moving very quickly now, as shortly after the cinema wall, professional cinema wall was announced, the wall here at CES has been announced, so I think we're going to see a couple more announcements through the year as the lineups get announced.
So much to talk about, and we got to move to the next thing just because we're crunched on time. So
I do actually have a quick question, because we are live pretty much all across the world. We've got YouTube and Facebook simultaneously streaming, and there's a couple of questions about voice assistant and voice activation being used with this new technology in the new televisions. Is that happening?
Yeah, it is happening, if you want to go in that direction right now. So Samsung has had voice control on the TV for a few years. It is button enabled, so the TV is not only always listening, it's when you push the button. And this year we're introducing Bixby. So Bixby launched on the Galaxy S8 earlier this year as a digital assistant, and now is slowly migrating into other Samsung products such as TV and even our Family Hub fridge. And what Bixby will be able to do on TV is far supersedes anything we've seen yet. Now, most people think of digital assistants as turning the music on in your home or turning the lights on in your home and usually screaming out for it. But for Samsung, putting the digital assistant inside the TV is really a gateway to our other appliances, because you would have the ability from sitting on your couch with the TV remote to say, what's in my fridge? The fridge cameras come on, you can see what's in your fridge, make a decision, maybe we're going to bake some cookies, and then I can say, Bixby, preheat the oven to 350. And then I can sit there until Bixby tells me the oven has been preheated, and then I can get up and go. Maybe at some point during this, it'll also tell me there's 20 minutes left in my laundry, so I might want to switch that out to the dryer. So really, the Bixby for the home and for the TV is a gateway to our SmartThings platform, which is not just Samsung product, it's many third-party, Arlo cameras, Hue lights, various things. So we have control just like any other assistant. We have integration with all of our other products. But when it comes down to watching TV, we can ask Bixby simple things like, show me movies with Tom Cruise, or find me a drama movie, so that Bixby is actually helping out. What we're actually showing in the booth is, while watching a movie, if you like the coat a guy is wearing, what's that guy wearing and where can I buy it? And Bixby will try and help you get that information.
My goodness.
Maude, we've been talking, I mean, it sounds like a broken record at this point, but we're seeing the smart TV become the central point for the smart home. You guys are making a big change this year, and I think this is definitely worth making a big deal out of. My frustration with the fact that you've got your smart thermostats, your smart locks, your smart fridge, you've got a smart, everything's smart, appliances like a washer and dryer. In the past, they've all operated under different apps. And so with my phone, I'm opening it up and I'm like, which app do I want to do to address this thing? Huge change for Samsung right now. The new SmartThings app, what's it going to do?
So there were many different apps, from the Home Connect app, which controlled our appliances, multi-room audio app for our multi-room. They're all being brought under SmartThings. So all of these different cloud structures that we had are now going to be under one cloud, and that's all the Samsung product. But all the third-party product too are also going to be brought in. And up until now, anyone that's running with a digital assistant is taking out their phone to see, is my garage door open, is the baby monitor? But although that screen is great, for Samsung, SmartThings will allow you to bring that up on the big screen, so that maybe before I go to bed, I can see, did I close the garage door? Is the baby sleeping? Let's bring up the baby monitor. Maybe I want to leave the baby monitor up while I'm watching sports, make sure I'm not cheering too loud. So really, the integration of taking it off the phone screen, putting it onto the TV screen, and then giving you full control. Oh, I did forget to close the garage door. Bixby from the TV remote, close the garage door. So really now it's taking all these fragmented smart devices, putting them under our SmartThings umbrella, and then giving you full control. I mean, we're talking TV, but not just from your TV, you can even do it from your Family Hub fridge.
Right. So, I mean, and that's the thing, it can be a Ring doorbell for your...
Correct.
You can also use a Nest or an Ecobee thermostat, either one. You don't have to choose one because it happens to go under that ecosystem. So there's some flexibility there. And on top of that, and this is one of the things that impressed me most, because I think it has a very real impact on people who are buying their TVs and bringing them home. They're pulling them out of the box. It's time to set up the TV. How are you making setting up your TV easier this year?
Oh, that's a great question, and probably one of the things I'm most excited about. For the average customer, the first hour they unbox their TV is a very stressful time, and if they don't get it right, it can really ruin the experience.
People send their TVs back because of this.
Correct.
No kidding.
And for Samsung, a lot of people think, does it stream Netflix? It's smart. But for Samsung, smart starts with the out-of-box experience. So let me explain how this all works. When you unbox your TV and you plug it into the wall, the TV will recognize if there's a phone running SmartThings in the area. It does it via Bluetooth, and then it finds out what your Wi-Fi password and credentials are and asks, do you want to share those? Now, some people have very, very long passwords. Some people don't remember the passwords because they're given to them by their internet provider.
Yep.
So now you'll be able to share those passwords and credentials right with the TV, so the TV's online. And then once we get the TV online, do you know a lot of Americans have pay for more than one streaming service? Netflix, you got Amazon, you got Hulu, and now we can start sharing the credentials from those apps to the TV as well. So right after plug-in, you got your TV on Wi-Fi, you got your sign-ins for your key apps, you're good to go. In addition, any product that you plug in via HDMI to a Samsung TV is automatically recognized. We changed the input name from HDMI 1 to Xbox or Comcast or DirecTV. We then program the remote that comes with the TV, no entering codes or any extra work needed. So literally, once you finish these first few steps of sharing your credentials, getting the TV on Wi-Fi, plugging your HDMIs in, you have full access to what you're watching. And for Samsung, it is about choice. So although I truly believe, running Netflix or even Amazon Prime with new 4K with HDR+, HDR10+, is best run there. We have some serious gamers prefer to run it off their Xbox, and the Samsung remote actually will control the interface and of all of these other products from Blu-ray to cable, in addition to being able to voice, search for things that you may want to watch through your cable system.
I want to find out if we have some more questions coming
Certainly
up.
do.
But you've just mentioned Xbox, so I want to go down the gamer route.
Because I'm actually one of those people that does play everything through my Xbox.
Well, our remote will help you out, but I do believe, depending on what Xbox you have, you might be better off running it through our app on our TV.
So glad I'm sitting right here at this table.
For some content. Very exciting that Amazon announced HDR10+, which is giving dynamic metadata to HDR10, which is an open source. So, we can really enjoy that. There are not too many peripheral components yet that are going to be transferring the HDR+ at this time. So really using the app's internal and having that easy setup to get to it is an important thing for our customer base.
What about actual games that you play on your game console? I mean, you guys have a partnership with Microsoft.
Correct.
There's a lot of 4K HDR games coming out for the Xbox One X. So what are you guys doing? I know that with that partnership with Microsoft comes some special operations. It sounds like you guys kind of embraced gamers and tried to give them a better experience. How does that work?
So, for gamers, if you ask them the key thing, it's going to be, response time. And what we do is
they don't want lag.
We don't want any input lag. So what we've done is, in the past, you could use voice to turn the TV on to game mode, but now we can recognize it's a game console and through metadata recognize that it's actually a game and automatically turn game mode on. And then from Maude over there, when she switches to Netflix, we'll turn game mode off, even though it's coming out of the Xbox, so that we can get that lag time down. We're also talking about variable frame rate this year, as right now it'll just be on PC, but as console moves into that direction, improved sound, improved contrast for gamers.
Knows HDR's coming down the pipeline and it switches to HDR mode for you?
Correct. So you don't have to do any physical thing to say, oh my God, this is HDR, I need to put it in HDR mode. The TV will automatically do so and give you indication on the screen in the smart menu.
All right, well, I don't know if you need it, but we've got some amazing compliments happening on the Facebook comment section. First of all, Ken would love you to pick up one of these televisions, Caleb. That was a direct request. Justin is tuning in from Pittsburgh, says it looks amazing. Caesar says, yes, Samsung #1. And Chris says, I love my Samsung Flex fridge and all of my Samsung products. So big fans out there watching from all over the world.
And to answer that question, we absolutely will be reviewing all of the best TVs that Samsung has to offer. We're going to pull in the new TV line. That brings up an interesting point. I want to dispel some confusion for some folks, because in the last couple of years, I mean, first it was SUHD, and then we saw QLED. QLED advanced even more. Yeah. But at the first look event, we didn't really talk about QLED. The new 2018 QLED TVs are not on the show floor today. Can you explain a little bit about what your strategy is with that? Because we're used to hearing about like the whole Samsung TV line coming out. Why different this year?
So Samsung decided to change things up, and a lot of it's based on some of the stuff we already spoke about with SmartThings. Samsung is always known to bring award-winning hero products, full lineups, and the most dazzling electronics to look at. And this year we took a step back and said, we don't want these products to foreshadow the technologies that are built in to improve your lifestyle. So what we're showing in the booth, rather than the full lineup from 3 series, 4 series and up, is to show the technologies that are going to be coming out in our TVs this year and how they're going to make your life better. And once you're familiar with the technologies, we'll tell you about the lineup and which models they'll be in. So we just didn't want the models to take take the hero spot from the technologies, because SmartThings is about bringing a lot together. It's a lot of technology, but at the end of the day, it's to make your life simpler, give you quicker access and quicker control to the things around you. And that's what the Samsung booth is really designed around this year, which is these individual experiences revolved around Bixby, revolved around quick setup. And we also did go ahead and show some things, future-looking things such as health management or lifestyle management with Family Hub and the Gear Watch and things like that.
Well, I mean, the thing is, CES is a noisy place, like literally and figuratively. Like, there's a lot going on here, and I think that when you have so much, some of that could definitely get lost in the shuffle. I'm going to get on my soapbox real quick though, and I got to say that I have seen the next iteration of QLED TV. And I'm an equal opportunity TV lover. It's okay for me to like OLED and LED and micro LED. I have love for all of them, but I think that people need to stay tuned. I'm hoping in the spring we're going to hear more about the QLED TV lineup. I've seen it, and they have made some significant improvements. I think people are getting very excited about what's available. And to be fair, there is a QLED TV on the floor, and it's huge, and it's 8K.
Yeah, that's right. So there are some QLED TVs scattered through the booth, but the highlight piece there is the 85S9, which is a full array backlit QLED, which is 8K with AI upscaling. So this is big news. People are saying, hey, we're still catching up on 4K content. Why move to 8K? And the reason we're moving to 8K, it has to do with how close people sit to the screen and how big the screen is. So, we had 1080p for a while, and the biggest TVs were 55-inch, but actually smaller, about 46-inch, but as we moved up to 60 and 65, we needed to move to 4K because people's pixels were getting bigger, but they didn't be able to move their couch back. People in America sit about 8 to 12 feet away. And as we saw 65 as the sweet spot for many years, 75, 82 are becoming very popular sizes. People aren't moving the couches back. We need them to not see the pixels. We need to make the pixels smaller. 8K is important. Now, since 8K is new and we will be doing a lot of upscaling, Samsung has incorporated AI, or artificial intelligence, upscaling, which means your TV will look better over time. And what I really mean by that is that upscaling is all based on algorithms. It's figuring things out, shapes and contrasts and sizes, and we learn and learn and learn. And for years now, Samsung, if you have a connected TV, does firmware updates. And the firmware updates can do anything from bring you new features or even update your Hulu experience to the newer versions of the apps. But one thing we've never really looked at was upscaling. So now that the lab is working tremendous amounts of work and R&D into upscaling, when these TVs launch, if the R&D team comes up with better algorithms, we can then send them through the over-the-network firmware update. So that means, I'm a Star Wars guy, I could watch Star Wars A New Hope, and I might watch it today, and then 3 weeks from now I get a firmware update, I watch it again, and it looks better. So, you can own a product that actually gets better over time, and that will be for our 8K TVs, which is the AI upscaling. So I think this is pretty exciting, to know that, it's every aspect of the TV, or many aspects of the TV, are looked at when we send these firmware updates to. And, as a video guy, I love the bells, the whistles, and the access, but it all comes down to the picture quality at the end of the day, for us and for you, for me, and many of the people watching. And AI upscaling is going to improve that. Full array backlit on QLED is going to improve that. So I think for those fans that really enjoy the QLED, enjoy the brightness, are going to really enjoy what we're showing. And you can come to see the booth now and really get a good chance to see the 85S9 and see the local dimming in effect, and also see how bright our backlight gets, which is, we're not talking numbers today, but we can tell you we're moving up in the world in brightness, moving down in the world in darkness, and giving the best contrast. And the reason it's so important right now is it's that high dynamic range, the
HDR.
High dynamic range is really how bright and dark you can put up at the same time. And I really believe Samsung is stepping in the right direction to improve upon something that was awesome to begin with.
HDR is definitely a big deal, and I know we're going to hear all about it. We're running a little short on time.
Yeah.
Coming to the close here, did we have any other questions that we wanted to address from the live audience?
Actually, there's a little bit of a debate happening in YouTube about how convenient we need our lives to become, and if it's something that is kind of impacting In a convenient way, or are we becoming a little bit lazy? I'm in team convenient, actually.
I am too, but I know there's a lot of people who wonder how much value there is to this. I'm sure you guys do research. There's a reason you're moving in this direction?
So there is a reason moving in this direction, and I mean, look, for the TV viewer, it's about getting what you want to watch, when you want to watch it, quicker and more simply. And then when you watch it, it needs to look the best. But for the comments on is it making us less active or lazy, it's definitely one way to look at the technology. However, Samsung is showing great technology, showing on how you can use our wearables, Samsung Bixby, to take pictures and count calories in your food, how many calories you're burning, and then make recipes on our Family Hub fridge. So we are looking at many different health options. So when you're away from the TV, Bixby, Samsung, and SmartThings are all working together to keep you out and running, moving about.
I need Bixby to be like, another pizza? Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure? And I'll be like, you're right.
Maybe throw a little monitoring in there. But no, I don't know very many people who are excited to tap out their usernames and passwords ad nauseum.
Exactly.
You know
that
what
was
I'm saying?
fantastic.
So I'm
the
stoked
same.
about that.
26 letters for my password.
The easier it is for me to set up, the better. And I think from a practical standpoint, the easier it is for the consumer to do it, the less likely they are to like send that TV back out of frustration. This stuff is getting pretty advanced.
The chat's just going, team convenient.
Yep, do it. Well, I mean, Scott, thank you so much.
Thanks for
so much
having me.
coming from Samsung.
Yeah.
Really exciting stuff.
News all the time, not just from television. And if you do want to catch up on all the action happening from CES, you know what to do. Jump onto digitaltrends.com/CES. Television in there, wearable content as well, and of course, smartphones and smart devices, all happening. But we've got plenty more coming up. We're going to chat Dolby. We're going to chat sound soon, so don't go anywhere.